everyone. We're going to go ahead and get into it just like usual with our chin tucks first. So we're going to lengthen through our spine. If you're standing, I want you to curl and tuck your glutes under, okay? Or you can just sit with me and lengthen. Here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's maintain that length. We're going to do our head turns from side to side, 5 each direction, coming back to the center in the middle. Here we go. I'm going to turn, back to center, turn. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, now we're going to do seated or standing cat-cows. Remember, if you're seated, you're kind of placing your hands on the end of your thighs here, and you're going to round and untuck, okay, through the spine. Or you can do it from that standing position with your palms on the chair, okay, keeping neutral spine and 90 degree at the hips. We're going to do 10 reps here. We're going to 1, so either of those positions, 2, 3, 4, we're gently waking up, that's fine, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so from here, the last one we're going to do without a timer here is our hip circles. So if you're standing, you're going to bring your feet wider than shoulder width apart as we roll around for 5 each direction. If you're seated, same thing, wider, but it's just the upper body that moves here, okay? All right, you pick which level, and here we go. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we're going to go on the clock now. This is how we're going to do today's format. 1 Tabata, which is going to be a continuation of our warm-up for, remember, that's 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of transition time for 4 minutes, 2 exercises back and forth. And then we're going to do a 30-minute 45-15, okay? That's 10 exercises. We're going to roll through 3 times. And then we're going to finish off with 1 more Tabata, okay? So our first Tabata is going to be, I want you to think of this as still warming up, getting that blood flow going. If you're standing, it's going to be back, back, forward, knee, back, back, forward, knee. Okay, so you can get your arms in there once you kind of get the coordination, back, back, forward, knee, back, back, forward, knee. Okay, if you're seated, we're just going to be doing a alternating knee raise from a seated position. Okay, and then our second exercise is our ham curl and pull back. Okay, all right, that's it. All right, knees forward and then feet back. All right, I'm going to do just a round 1 seated. Okay, so you're either doing your back, forward knee if you're standing, or you're going to be with me doing an alternating knee raise. Let's get ready and begin. So I'm going to do round 1. There's 4 rounds total of 2 exercises. I'm going to do round 1 seated. 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, now we're going to do our ham curl kickbacks with a pullback. Okay, you can either pull back through the elbows or pull back, push back with your palms here. Okay, whichever you want to do, maybe a mix of both. Okay. I'm going to move to our standing variations after this. If you're seated and you want to stay there, please stay seated. 2 and 1. Okay, top of round 2. Going back to that back, forward knee. Okay, in 3, 2, and 1. Back, forward knee. And time. Okay, back to the ham curl with that pullback. And 3, 2, 1. Just getting all the joints in the bodies warmed up. Getting that blood flow going, getting the heart pumping that blood throughout the body. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, we're halfway. All right, we're going to go back to that knee raise, the first one with the back forward knee, or just a seated knee raise. Here we go. Back. And time on those. Back to the ham curls and the pullback. And 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Remember, you can play around with your arms, can be straight here as you pull back, kind of like your palms are pushing the air back, or you can kind of pretend almost like you're grabbing something and pulling back with the elbows. Either or is fine here. Maybe a combo of the two. And time, we've got one more round through, okay? And in 3, 2, and 1, here we go. Last time. Back, forward, knee. Three, 2, and 1, okay. And now we are going back to our ham curl and pull back for the final time. And we're going to go into our 45-15. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Three, 2, and time. Okay, guys, go ahead and get a drink. All right. Warmed the body up here. We're going into that 30-minute 45-15. So remember this, you take your rest as you need it. That timer is just our guide. So you can always start late or stop early if you need a little extra recovery time, a drink, you need to use the restroom, whatever you need to do. Just this is just the time is just a guide, okay? I'm going to do round 1 seated, and then the next 2 rounds I'll do standing. So we're still starting like last week with our lunges. So remember, standing, you're either holding onto the back of your chair with both hands or the side of your chair. And if you're advanced, you may not use the chair at all, okay? But you're just stepping back, lowering down, driving up, and bringing it back. And then you go to the other side, down, up, and back. So it's a 4 count. And remember, this front foot, the heel should always be in contact with the floor. Seated, we're going to be doing our alternating leg press, okay? So I'll go ahead and explain them as we go along from here. Let's get ready with our alternating lunges or seated leg press in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So seated, I'm kind of at the edge of my chair so I can scoop my tummy back a little bit, lean back some. And then I can go ahead and press this imaginary rock away with the heel of my foot. And if you notice, whether you're doing the lunge or the seated leg press, it's a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? We have about 10 more seconds here, and then we're gonna go into goblet squat or an alternating leg extension if you're seated, okay? 3, 2, and 1. So you can grab a weight, 1 or 2 weights, okay, and you're gonna hold it up here. Feet are gonna be about shoulder width apart, toes slightly flared out as you, not a sit squat, we're doing that one later, as you lower down and drive up, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. If you're seated with me, keeping that foot flexed and lengthening and straightening through the knee. We're trying to squeeze the top of the leg here, okay? Think about engaging this muscle. The mind is really a powerful thing. So when you go ahead and apply that, when you're focused and you think about that engagement, you actually are working the muscle without having to lift a heavy weight or do something extreme to get a muscle contraction, okay? 3, 2, and 1, okay? Next is our hinge and row. So whether you're seated or standing, feet are gonna be underneath your hips, toes are forward. This is where we push those hips back, okay? And we row, and then we squeeze the glutes up, okay? Nothing new here. All right, I'm gonna be doing it from seated. I'm gonna hinge, row, up. So we're getting the whole back side of the body here, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, and the lats by putting these two movements together. One of the reasons I like putting them together is because it alleviates sometimes bending over for a prolonged period of time can cause some stress on the lower back. And this kind of gives us a little relief between each row. We're squeezing the glutes to come back up to stand. And again, stay present in time. Think about the muscles you're working. Next, we're gonna do a curl to neutral press. Okay, so this is gonna look the same seated or standing. We're staying neutral, hammer, curl, knuckles, stay out to the side. We're gonna curl, press, bring it back. Now, if over, and this looks the same standing, just make sure you're engaging your glutes if you're standing. If going overhead with your weights is not, it's not for everyone, okay? It depends on what's going on in your neck, your shoulders. Just keep it to a curl right here, okay? All right. Good. Keep that core engaged, keep the glutes engaged if you're standing. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. Next, we are moving into our lateral 2-step with the windmill arms, or you can make that a shuffle, so it's to step together, step, right? Or you can shuffle it. All right, put a little hop into it. Okay, if we're standing, I think we might have to do something different with the arms. I think we should do something like this if we're seated. I think last time I tried to do the seated and it was very confusing. All right, so we just want to get some lateral movement through the body here. We're going to do our rope pull exercise next. That's going to be body weight, but we're going to use some intensity. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So remember, core is tight. If you're standing, your glutes are engaged. You want to keep them, and you're like pulling something down, right? And you do it like with a little bit of gusto, right? Okay, here we go. Begin. So seated or standing. We're working our lats here and our core. We want to keep the glutes engaged when we're standing so that our body doesn't, our trunk of our body, our torso doesn't sway. We want to keep it nice and still. When you're seated, it just happens to stay that way because we're in that 90-degree position through the hips. Sit squats are next. 3, 2, and 1. Woo, okay. Sit squats are next. Okay, so feet are again at shoulder width apart. We're coming all the way down and up from our seat. Okay, sitting it down and up. All right, and if you're seated with me, we're back to leg extensions. Okay. Seated, remember to keep the foot flexed as we extend the leg, really squeezing the top of the leg here. Ten more seconds here. Last 5, 2, and 1. Okay, so next we're going to go into our bent elbow T-fly with external rotation. So I recommend body weight here, or like a 1 pound weight if you feel really strong, but this is where we're doing our pullback, internal, external. Okay, here we go. It looks the same seated or standing. Again, remember, if you're standing, you're tucking your pelvis, you're squeezing your glutes so that you don't get any excessive curvature in the back of your spine that may be uncomfortable. Posture and shoulder health right here. Really important movements to keep the joints nice and mobile. Mobility is so important for our body. 2 and 1. Okay. Next, we're going to do a lateral 3-step and march. So standing, it's going to look like this. We haven't done this one in a while. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. Okay, so it's like you're stopping that momentum in place. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, hold for a seated. All right, so you're a little quick on the 1, 2, 3, and then you pause and hold up. All right, so it's like you're stopping that momentum and really challenging your core. And it's simple doesn't always mean easy. You know what I mean? It's a simple pattern, but sometimes it's the simple ones are challenging. Almost done this one. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last exercise in the circuit is our tricep kickback with our tap back. Okay, so we just hinge ever so slightly here as we tap back and kick back with our weights. Okay, with or without weights, we're working the back of the arm. Seated, you're just kind of closer to the edge of your chair, so you have room to tap that toe back. So when you're seated, you're it's the knee joint that's working, versus when you're standing, it's the hip joint that's working with the tap back, okay? But our primary focus is the back of the arms, the tricep. That's our number 1 focus. And that'll be 10 minutes. We're gonna go right back to the top again after this. So remember, take your extra rest and recovery as you see fit if you need it, because we are working for 30 minutes straight through today. 2 and 1. Whew, excellent work. Deep breath. Okay, we're going back to lunges or seated alternating leg press. All right, I'm going to hold on to my chair today with both hands. Okay, you pick what's good for you. Here we go. So we're going to step it back, lower down, drive it up, return. Almost there. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're not done with the legs yet. We're going to our goblet squat or our seated alternating leg extension. I'm going to take 1 or 2 weights or no weight. Feet are about shoulder width apart, slight flare in the feet, okay? And as we lower down, keeping the chest high and drive it up. Drive it up. Pressing through the heels to elevate. Helps get our glutes involved. Really trying to make the mind muscle connection in the lower body here. Three, 2, and time. Good. Moving on to our hinge and row. Okay, seated or standing. Feet are underneath the hips now, toes are forward, right? I'm gonna push those hips back. Head goes down, squeeze the glutes up, right? Think about that hinge through the hips. It's like a suitcase, right? It's the hinges in a suitcase, or like the hinges in a door. When you think of a suitcase, the hinges move, but either side of the suitcase stays nice and rigid. And that's what you're kind of thinking about. You're kind of thinking of, you're not trying to round through your spine as your hips push back to do your hinge. 2, and 1. Okay, curl to press. Okay, we're going to stay neutral. All right, so our knuckles stay out to either side the whole time through our curl and our press. Okay, and if the press is no good, remember, just remove that part and stick to your bicep curl. Here we go. I'm standing this round, so I'm aware of keeping my glutes engaged and tucked, so I don't feel any excessive curving through my lower back, which may be uncomfortable. Excellent. We're past halfway here. Remember, this 45 seconds and 15 recovery is just our guide, okay? You can take extra rest and recovery when you need it. And time on that one. Moving on to our lateral 2-step or lateral shuffle, okay? If you're seated, we're just doing a lateral taps with the swaying arm, okay? Otherwise, here we go. We're 2-step, just like this, or you can add a little hop to that. Either or is totally acceptable. Maybe it's a combination of the two. If you're feeling under the weather, maybe, regress these movements to what feels better. It's like allergy and cold season here, so we always need to adjust. Our body's always talking to us and letting us know. 5 more seconds here. And time. Okay. Next, we have our rope pull. Okay. So again, remember, if you're standing, you want to really think of squeezing through here, kind of scooping through here. It gives you a nice stable base. And that way you're not moving. See, if I'm not squeezing here, I have more of a curve through my back, and I'm more likely to see it from the front better. Like my torso sways. We don't want it to move, right? We want the torso to be like a pillar, right? It's not moving. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Sit squats are next. You can do these body weight or with weights. Or you can do your alternating leg extension. I think I'm gonna do the sit squat. I'm gonna hold my weights on either side just for variety. So feet are about shoulder width apart, lower down, drive it up. Lower down, up. Moving at your own pace. We've got 10 more seconds. 2 and 1. Okay, nice work. Next is our bent elbow fly with our internal and external rotation. Seated or standing, okay? Remember to tuck and curl that pelvis, okay? If you're standing, here we go. We're gonna pull it back. Internal, external, together. Straight from the side. Back, internal, external, together. If you find that you feel arching through your lower back or anything pulling, I really suggest you sit down if you're not already sitting. I think you'll get a lot more bang for your buck out of it. If you feel any discomfort in your neck, shake it out. Okay, maybe start early, okay? Or I mean stop early, not start early. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lateral 3-step march to hold. Okay, so remember if we're seated, we're counting 1, 2, 3, and then holding on the third one. And when we're standing, we're actually moving to side to side. Ready? And begin. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. Try to get that opposite hand and foot lined up. And go at a pace that's good for you. Kind of quick, 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 slow. Quick, 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 hold. Quick, 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 hold. But your quick may be different than mine. So don't try to, you know, keep up with my rhythm or follow my rhythm if it's not appropriate for you. You do your rhythm. Two. And time on that. One more tricep kickback with our tap back, okay? Seated or standing. Remember, if you're seated, you're closer towards the edge of your chair and your knees are hinging. Or if you're standing, it's your hips, okay, that are the movers. But we're primarily working the triceps here. That's where I want you to put your thought in that muscle contraction in the back of the arm here. This will be our second time through. We just have one more time through after this. Ten more seconds here. Get your drinks as you need them, okay? 2 and 1. Woo, okay. Going back to the top, final round through everything. Starting with our lunges or seated alternating leg press. Ready? And begin. Step it back. Remember, there is no rush for these movements. We're focused on the quality of our movement versus how fast we can do it versus how many reps of it we can do it. The quality is the most important part because once you really get that down, once you learn the pattern correctly, your body gets used to it. So you don't want to learn a pattern incorrectly and then have your body get used to doing it the wrong way. You know what I mean? So quality first, and then, you know, an increase in repetition and speed comes over time as you've master the quality. 2 and 1. Whew. All done with those. Squats are next. Our goblet squats are next. So you don't have to use a weight here, only if you want to. 1 or 2 dumbbells if you want. Feet are about shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, okay? And sink it back, keeping the chest high and driving up. Driving through the heels. Remember, if you're seated, it's your alternating leg extension. And notice how this is different from our hinge and row. Okay, notice how our chest is up higher. Notice how there's an angle in your shin here that's not there when we hinge. They're similar, but different, okay? Less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Very good, okay? Now we're gonna go to that hinge and row. So our feet, our stance comes in closer, feet are underneath the hips and toes are forward. And now as we push our hips back, our shin stays straight and our gaze comes down, our chest comes down, right? So you notice that big difference there? And then squeeze the glutes up. You're gonna feel engagement, whether you're doing a squat or a hinge, you're gonna feel your glutes working. So that's why sometimes it can feel a little confusing. But again, like I've said in the past, the hinge works more on the back side, the hamstrings and the glutes, while the squat really works more on the glutes and the quadriceps, the front side. So these shifts in foot position and where our chest gets positioned make all the difference to where we target. 2 and 1. Okay, neutral grip, hammer curl to press, okay? Knuckles stay out to the side for the bicep curl and the press, okay? And take the press out if it's too intense for your shoulders. Seated or standing. If you're standing, you're tucking your glutes. Excellent. We're halfway through this exercise. Ten more seconds here. 5, 2, and 1. Okay. Weights aside, we're doing our lateral 2-step with that windmill arm. Okay, or you're going to turn that into a shuffle. And if you're seated, you're going to lateral tap side to side with an arm swing like this. Okay, here we go. So either 2-step it or put a little hop in it. It's all dependent on your ability, how you feel, your confidence in your ability to do it too. Okay, you have to factor in all those things, okay? And remember, above all, you're staying consistent, you're moving your body, right? You're not staying seated and sedentary. 3, 2, and 1, okay? Elbow fly to, oh no, rope pull. I jumped over 2. Okay, so we're gonna, if you're standing, I'm tucking and engaging here, okay? Keeping this all squeezed so nothing moves through here as I kind of with some intensity, like I mean it. Like I'm pulling down a sign. I don't like this sign and I'm pulling it down like I'm mad about it. It's the best way I can get that intensity across to you with words, you know? We actually work the core here by anti-rotation, by keeping those glutes squeezed and not allowing our core to want to twist. As we pull back, you're working your core. All right. Now we have our sit squat. So you're gonna, if you're seated, you're going to your alternating leg extension again, or you can grab some weights or no weight. Feet come back to shoulder width apart. And this time we're going to lower it all the way down and drive it up, okay? Pressing through my heels. We have 20 more seconds here. Remember, if you need to stop a little early, we're going 30 minutes straight through today. So please, if by all means, take your extra time if you need it. 5 seconds. 2 and 1, okay? And then we move on to our bent elbow fly with the internal external rotation, okay? In 3, 2, and 1. So again, if you're standing, you're squeezing those glutes, okay, to reduce the curvature in the lower back so it doesn't feel like it's straining. Especially as we pull the elbows back. Sometimes if we're working on mobility, okay, we may not have, your shoulders may not want to go back as far, or your elbows may not want to go back as far as you want them to. And that's okay. Just work within your range. And remember that with that consistency, your mobility will increase over time. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time, okay? Almost there. We've got our lateral 3-step march with that hold, okay? It looks the same seated, 1, 2, 3, hold, okay? All right, here we go in 2, 1, and remember, opposite hand foot. So quick, 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 hold. Quick, 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 hold. And that may not line up with my rhythm again, remember, okay? Your quick, quick, quick hold may look different than mine, and that's okay. The idea is when we move a little quick to the side and then we force the body to stand still on one leg, it really challenges our balance, right? Because we go from this moving, we've gained momentum, and then we say stop, right? Just as we're getting that momentum really going. 3 more seconds. 2 and 1. Whew, okay. Last one. Tricep kickback with our tap back. Okay, seated or standing. Then we're going to recover and we're going to finish off with one more Tabata. Okay, let's get ready. I have a slight hinge forward. And here we go. Talking to the back of my arms with or without weights. You can make that mind muscle connection and feel the muscle working simply by talking and communicating with that muscle, okay? Telling it to contract, staying focused on it. $15 more seconds here. 10. 3, 2, and time. Okay, excellent, guys. Take a break, okay? Take a break, get a drink. Whew, 30 minutes done. We're only gonna do 4 minutes more, okay? So back to a Tabata format, okay? We are doing a rotational grab and pull, okay? So what that looks like standing is I want you to think of you're rotating to your side and you're going to grab something, okay? So think, first of all, think of this. Think of when we bend over, we do our bent row and hinge, right? It's the same movement, but we're doing it from this horizontal position. Okay, so I'm reaching for it. I'm gonna pretend we're gonna do this body weight because we're gonna move, okay, at a quicker pace. But I'm reaching with an extended palm, and then I'm grabbing and making a closed fist, like I'm actually pulling something away, like our rope pull too, okay? But now see what I'm doing with my back foot? I'm doing this for balance and to get that pivot and that little stretch through our psoas here. Okay. So do that at your own pace, whatever feels good there. You know, if you have some allergies, sometimes you can feel a little dizzy. So please mind your pace if, you know, you're experiencing anything like that. And from our seated, we're not going to worry about our feet at all in this. But boy, and let me tell you, that rotation that you feel through here is feels really good. So either of those, whichever one you feel like doing, okay? And then our second one is our slip rope squat. Okay, so we're going down. If you're seated, your feet stay wide, and we're just going to go underneath the rope with the imaginary rope with our upper body. And remember, if you're standing, we've got that rope right here, right at our shoulder height, and we have to duck under it and clear it by going ducking and then stepping over. Okay. Last two exercises to finish this class off with. We're going to go ahead and start with that rotational grab and pull. I will do the first one seated. Okay, the first one seated. Let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So reach and grab, bring it back. 2 and 1. Okay, slip rope squats now. So I'm in the seated position, so my feet are wide here, and I'm just going to work on going under the rope with my upper body. Here we go. Under. I have to be honest, the seated variation of these two together feels quite nice on my spine. It feels like a little bit of a massage on my spine. If you feel like you're having any kind of discomfort and time, that you might want to try the seated option if you're standing. Okay, we're going to move to standing for the next round here. So I'm going to do my rotational grab and pull. Here we go. By opening my palm and then closing it to pull back, it helps to create that mind muscle connection through the lats, because this is actually where you start. Like when you pull and you row, it actually starts from this muscle back here. Okay. All right. Slip rope squat. Ready? Begin. Under and over. Five more seconds here. And time. Okay. Back to that rotational grab and pull. And you can kind of see how these are like functional movements. It's not completely unheard of to think you'd be grabbing something from you know, a rotational reach like this, right? I mean, think even if you open a swinging door, I'm trying to think what on a rotation that we might grab. I always think of the seatbelt more than anything. And this, the slip rope squat, I always think if you're trying to hop the line when they have, like, you know, when there's some kind of line thing and they have all those, what do you call them? Those rope barriers for you to kind of weave into your place in line, like at an amusement park or an airport. And time. That's what it reminds me of. It's just constantly going underneath those rope barriers. All right, top of round 3, that rotational grab and pull. Here we go. I'm gonna grab, pull. 2, time. Whew. Okay, feeling that intensity. Here we go. It's our last set here, slip rope squat. Ready? And begin. Keep going under and over. Remember, not every day your working out's going to look the same. Some days you're going to really feel like you pushed yourself really hard, and other days you might feel like, oh, you know what, I'm just not feeling like I typically do. You know, that's okay. All right, you don't always end time. You don't always progress like this, right? It's not that. It's kind of like right. So that's life. That's we apply that in anything, right? So get a drink, guys. Take a rest. We're going to do some stretching now. Okay, and let's start with our forward fold on the back of the chair here. Okay, so standing up, palms on the back of the chair. Okay, thinking about that hinge we do in our hinge and row. Okay, how you kind of have this like 90-degree through the hips. Okay, it's okay. It have a soft bend in the knee. All right, so there's a slight angle through the thigh, but the shins are straight up and down. And then our arms reaching overhead helps really stretch out the shoulder and the upper back here. You can kind of sway your hips from one side to the other and see how that stretch kind of massages your sacrum a little bit, right? And then just come back to center. And when you're ready, just very gently and slowly bring it back up. Okay, from here, we're going to go ahead and sit down. And we're going to do our rotational stretch here. So I'm going to start with my palms on one side of my body, and I'm going to arc them over to the other. And I'm going to try to look past that shoulder or wherever your neck wants to take you. Okay, it just depends on your range of motion. And just really give some cleansing breaths here. Okay, take one last breath. And when you're ready, let's arc it over to the other side. Same thing here. Not forcing anything, we're just taking it to our edge. Good, one more breath. Back to center here. Okay, from here, let's get our neck and our trap. And we're gonna just gently reach one hand, our fingertips towards the floor as we gently apply a slight bit of pressure to the head and feeling that stretch run down the side here. Now you may wanna stay here, or if you want, you can kind of turn your chin to look in the opposite corner, and then just even grab your head a little bit more on the back instead of the side. And feel how that stretch goes through the back of the neck now. One more breath. And then gently release your palm off the head, bring it back up to center. Okay, I'm gonna do a neck roll here, semicircle. And now let's go ahead, reach our opposite fingertips down, and then grab onto the side of the head here and feel that stretch right along the side here. All right, deep breath. And again, you may just want to stay right here in this position, or if you want to shift the stretch a little bit, you're going to shift the chin down to the opposite side, and then you're going to grab a little bit more onto the back of the head. Really trying to relax here and let go. Good. And when you're ready, you can release the hand off the head, bring it back up to center, and go ahead and give me a half circle each side here. Okay, from here, let's go ahead and get into our glutes a little bit by doing our seated figure 4. Okay, so I'm just going to sit with that foot crossed. And then I'm going to gently lean forward and feel how that stretch hits the glute on that leg that's elevated and crossed over on that. Yeah, yes, I said that correctly. Maintaining some length through the spine. Excellent, and relax. Let's go ahead and take this crossed leg here. We're going to extend it. You can either hold it up and flex some point here, or you can keep it on the floor if it feels a little tiresome, keep it up, okay, either or. And then circle. You probably need to hold it up to circle 5 each direction here. Good, and now the same thing on the other side, starting with our figure 4, our seated figure 4. All right, so now I'm trying to get into, right now I have my left leg crossed and I'm stretching into my left glute. Maintaining a little bit of length through the spine so I make sure I get into the glute. Good. And when you're ready, you're going to come up. We're going to extend that leg straight. We're going to flex and point for 5, either with the heel on the floor or elevated. And then you're going to elevate your heel if it's on the floor to do your circles 5 each direction. Good. And we're just going to finish off with a chest opener. So we're going to take our palms, we're going to put them on the small of our back. All right. I'm going to pull my elbows together, like pretending like they're able to touch, even though they're not. And I want to feel this stretch through the front of my chest and shoulders here. Okay. And you will probably feel that stretch through your forearms as well as you're leveraged, right? As you're leveraged on your lower back here with your palms. Okay. So you put your head wherever you're comfortable. Okay. You don't have to look up if that causes discomfort in your neck. You can look forward. 3, 2, and 1. Good. And let's finish off with 2 big inhales here. We're going to inhale, palms together, exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale and exhale. All right, guys, that was today's class. I hope you enjoyed. And of course, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'd be happy to help to the best of my ability.